If your projects come out wobbly and crooked, here's why. I use number 1 to cut number 2, to cut number 3, and then to cut number 4. And if you look like this, they kind of look okay. But let's zoom in. Can you see the variation in the heights? How about now? Number 4 versus number 1. And you can clearly see that there is almost a 1/16 of an inch off. What you're looking at here is the game of woodworking telephone. Because you did everything right, but you still ended up with this. And this is because every single time you're using one piece to measure for the next, you are adding in a little bit of uncertainty because you will never be able to mark the pencil line exactly where the edge of your board ends. So that adds a little bit of variation. The curve, if you're even slightly off of the line, there you have a little bit more variation, and then just plain human error. You do that 3 times and you end up with a project that's not exactly square. Yes, you could remeasure every single time, pull out that tape measure, look down at those tiny tick marks and mark your measurement, but every single time you do that, a tiny bit of human error sneaks in. Your eye might look at the tape from a slightly different angle, or your pencil mark may be slightly a hair to the left or to the right. A 32nd of an inch mistake on one board and a 1/16 of an inch mistake on the other board, and now your boards are not aligned anymore. And the solution to this is to set up a stop block. Now, if you have a full-fledged miter saw station, then you have slots for stop blocks, then you are golden. But if you are like me and you have a temporary miter setup, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up a stop block, whether you're making shortcuts or really long cuts. Let's go. So this is the miter saw, and obviously different brands and different models will look a little bit different, but they will almost always have the same features and allow you to do everything that we are doing right now. So the main key thing right here is the fence, and the fence is what you hold your boards against, and that helps make sure that everything is nice and square so you can make the cuts. And almost all saws will come with a clamp of this type, and what this clamp helps you do is hold down the board as you are cutting it. It also helps you hold down a stop block if you need it. So one of the cuts that we need to make is 12 inches. So I am going to go ahead and measure and mark the 12 inch on this board. And then, as always, I'm going to use my speed square and make that line. Now I know that I need to make the cut right here. So I'm going to go ahead, line up my board, line up my saw as though I am going to be making the cut, but I'm not going to cut it just yet. So we're just going to go ahead, align the saw, align the teeth, make sure we account for the curve so we know that we are going to get an accurate cut. Now, I'm going to not make that cut, but I'm going to make sure that I do not move this board at all. Now, I know exactly where the 12 inch mark is, and I can use a scrap board. Make sure it's a nice flat 90-degree end and hold that in place. And now I can clamp it right there. And that's my stop block for the 12 inch cut. Now you can use the inbuilt clamp, or you can use any other clamp. And in this case, because my stop block is kind of small and there isn't enough support underneath it, I am going to be using a different clamp. We are clamped. I am going to double check my cut again. Looks like it has moved. So we need to move it just a little bit. Yep, that is good. Let me make sure that this is nice and tight. That is not going anywhere. So now I can go ahead and make that cut, and that will be 12 inches. And then I can just repeat that cut easily again and again. Remember, when making a cut like this, it is very important to make sure that the blade comes to a complete stop before lifting it up. Now this technique works great if the length of the boards that you need to cut is shorter than what your fence is. But what if you have to make longer cuts that are longer than your fence? Because in our case, we need to make a 16.25-inch cut, which is definitely longer than what can be accommodated by the fence. What do you do in that case? Now you do see a lot of YouTube videos that actually have a miter saw station where they have inbuilt rails and stop blocks, etc. But what if you are just starting out and you have a simple setup like this and you need to make long repeated cuts? Here is how you do it. So I want to take a quick moment to ask you a question. Be honest with me. How many DIY videos have you watched this week? Because I get so many messages along the lines of, Anika, I have watched every single one of your videos to help me get inspired and finally get the confidence to use my saw. But here's the truth. You cannot watch your way into confidence. You cannot motivate yourself into a skill. The only way to stop being intimidated by tools is to actually turn them on. And the only way to learn how to build is to actually build. You don't need any more information or any more videos or theories. What you need is a tool in your hand and some sawdust on your floor. And that is exactly why I created the Fearless Woodworker. It is not a dry series of lectures. It is a project-based journey where each build is a stepping stone. We start simple with just a saw and a drill and I show you all of the basics so you get confident with the basics. I incrementally add new tools into your arsenal as your confidence grows. And by the time you're done, you'll be confident using a table saw, a router, and so much more. You aren't just watching tutorials. You are mastering woodworking 101 through action. But here's the thing. I know it's not just the fear of tools that's holding you back. It's the fear that, what if I get stuck? Who do I turn to? Who do I ask questions? And this is why in this program, you are not doing it alone. I have a 24/7 community group where you can share your progress and get help whenever you need. Plus, I host live monthly Q&A calls where you can come, ask your questions, get unstuck, and it also keeps you accountable. And the best part, my favorite part, is we create a community. We make friends, we hang out, we talk woodworking. I am going to be with you every step of the way in this program, making sure that you keep moving forward. And by the end of the program, you're going to walk away with not just 5 amazing projects that you just built, but you're going to walk away with a lifetime of skills. You wouldn't have watched a woodworker, you would have become the woodworker. And you will finally be the person that will look at something and say, oh yeah, I can build that. So if you're ready to stop watching from the sidelines and start building, join the Fearless Woodworker. It is the program and community I wish existed when I was starting out. Let's get you in the shop and get those tools running, because I cannot wait to see all the amazing things you build. Now, every miter saw fence will have some holes in it that you can use to screw things into. And this is where you would screw in a bigger board to create an extended fence, a temporary extended fence. Now, for the extended fence that we're going to be creating, there are a couple of things that you want to remember. First, it needs to be an extremely flat, straight board, because if it's not, then your board that you're cutting is not going to be up against the fence nice and square, and your cuts are going to be out of square. So you want to make sure that you use the flattest board possible, and I prefer using plywood because plywood is typically much flatter, or it's easier to get a flatter plywood than to get a board. But any nice flat straight dimensional board will work as well. Now the second is that even though you just need one side of the fence to be extended out so you can put the stop block and measure and cut, you do need to add the board such that it is long enough to go to the end of the other fence as well. And this is because when you are making the cuts, you are using the stop block on this side of the fence. However, you are holding the board up against the fence on the other side, and you need to make sure that you can hold it up nice and strong and straight against the fence. So we need to make the extended fence all across the miter saw, but only till the end of this fence. You can go out this way as much as you need. For my purpose, I have this plywood piece that I am going to attach to my fence right here, and this way I will be able to make the cut all the way to the end of this board. Here is my board. It is 68 inches long, so I have a long length going out there, and I do have it covered all the way here. Now this is a 3/4 inch thick plywood, and my screws were 1.25 inches, so they are sort of sticking out right here, but that's okay because I am using 2x4s and they don't really interfere with the 2x4. They're higher than the 2x4, so that's okay. But if you find shorter screws, that definitely works better. But the most important part is that the board is nice and strong up against the fence. And now I can go ahead and make a cut in the fence right here for the blade to go through, set up my stop block, and start making the cuts. Now remember that we are using a new board, so we have to cut off the end of the board before we start measuring and marking and setting up our stop block. So I am cutting off a little bit more than I normally do because I'm going to be using this cutoff as my stop block. And now to set up the stop block, I am going to do exactly what I did the first time around, where I'm going to measure and mark a line for exactly where I need to cut this board at 16.25 inches. And then I'm going to align the saw blade with that line as though I was going to cut it, and then use that position of the board to set up the stop block and clamp that, and then I can just go ahead and make all the repeated cuts. And you see how the board comes towards you when you pull up the blade? This is why you need to make sure that the blade comes to a complete stop before lifting it up, or the board will fly at a high speed towards you and can be dangerous. And if you want to dial in your cuts even further and make super accurate cuts on your miter saw, I have a video that shares 7 things you can do to get the best accurate cuts. So click on that and I will see you in there.